Why can't people afford groceries? Well, it's not because we're bad at budgeting or not earning enough money. Actually, people are earning more money now than they ever did a few years ago. But the prices of groceries has outgrown wage increases. Groceries have increased by about 30% since 2020. Now affording everything you need at the grocery store has become a luxury. Being able to fill up your cart without spending tons of money is almost impossible. It seems that groceries cost more today than ever before. And it's not only because of the COVID stimmy checks or inflation, but it's more complicated than that. So let's get into the deeper reasons why we pay so much for groceries. With grocery prices increasing, we have to ask ourselves, who benefits from this? Because although most people are struggling to afford groceries, it's not a hard time for everyone. Corporate profits and executive bonuses are at all-time highs, especially in the US and Canada, where a few grocery chains dominate the market. In the US, these are Walmart, Kroger, and Costco. And in Canada, it's Loblaws, Sobeys, and Metro, who basically control the grocery game. This creates a dangerous condition where these companies start to take advantage of customers. When it's little competition, they have the power to price gouge, and they blame inflation and the higher costs for price increases. Yet the prices stay high even when costs from suppliers go down. This is referred to as greedflation, and whenever the cost increases for these companies, they pass it on to the customers, leaving their profits almost untouched. In Canada, Loblaws and its parent companies have recorded major profits in the last few years. In 2023 and 2024, Loblaws made billions in revenues, and their former president, Glenn Weston, made millions. In 1 year, Weston was paid over $11 million, all while many Canadians struggle to afford groceries. And it gets even worse. For more than a decade between 2001 and 2015, major bakery companies and grocery chains secretly colluded to fix the prices of bread. According to the Competition Bureau of Canada, this scheme cost Canadians about $1.50 per loaf. It doesn't sound like much, but multiply that by millions of loaves sold across the country. It turned into a massive corporate cash grab that most Canadians didn't even realize they were paying for. In 2023, Canada Bread pleaded guilty to the role in the scheme and was fined $50 million. There's also a $500 million class action settlement happening right now. Other companies like Sobeys, Metro, and Walmart are still facing lawsuits. This bread fixing went on for years before anyone caught on. And it's not just bread, but it's also other basic items too. Take eggs for instance. In the US, egg prices start to spike in late 2022 after a massive outbreak of avian flu. By early 2023, a carton that once cost about $2 was suddenly $4 to $5. And in some cities, people are even paying as much as $10 for a dozen. The bird flu wiped out over 160 million hens across the country. This cut the supply chain and drove up prices. While this may be true, it's only one reason why it's so expensive now. By late 2024, supply has started to recover and the wholesale egg prices began to drop, but the prices people paid at the grocery stores remained just as high. And at the same time, Cal-Maine Foods, the largest egg producer in the US, reported record profits. Their profits in 2023 alone jumped over 700% in 1 year. And it didn't stop there. In March 2025, the US Department of Justice opened an antitrust investigation into several major egg producers. Investigators are looking into whether these companies coordinated to keep prices artificially high even after the worst of the bird flu had passed. And it doesn't end with eggs. In the US, 4 potato giants are being sued for allegedly running what some called a French Fry Cartel. These companies are Lamb Weston, McCain Foods, J.R. Simplot, and Cavendish Farms. Together, these companies control over 97% of the frozen potato market. And between 2022 and 2024, they allegedly coordinated to price hike nearly 47%. Meanwhile, production costs were actually going down. So while Americans were paying more for frozen potatoes, these companies raised the prices simply because they wanted to. And it gets worse. Other corporate giants are trying to tighten their grip on the grocery system. 2 of the biggest grocery chains in the US, Kroger and Albertsons, tried to merge into one giant, but the FTC didn't allow it. They said it would kill competition and make groceries even more expensive. At the end of 2024, the courts blocked the deal, and the 2 companies are now fighting over $600 million breakup fee. But this isn't just a regular fight over profits. This has serious consequences for our grocery bills and the way we live. Foods now have become luxury rather than a basic necessity. In Canada, about 8.7 million people, including over 2 million children, are facing food insecurity. Depending on the province, it may be even worse than that. And in the US, the situation is no better. More than 47 million people in the US are living with food insecurity, and 14 million of them are children. This means entire families are skipping meals and wondering how they'll make it to the end of the week. People are cutting portions just to fill their grocery carts with the cheapest options, which usually ends up being the most processed and unhealthy junk. And it's not because they don't care about their health, but it's because the system leaves them no choice. Not to mention, food banks are being flooded like never before. These were meant to be a safety net, not a permanent substitute for affordable groceries. But now food bank shelves are being emptied faster than they can be filled. And let's not ignore the mental weight of it all. The anxiety of wondering how far your next grocery trip will set you back, having to calculate the price before arriving at checkout. Meanwhile, the corporations behind the crisis are pulling record profits, handing out bonuses, and blaming everything on inflation. But everything isn't inflation. It's greed. And this type of greed works like a slow, silent form of violence. If this type of greed keeps winning, the price of living will keep rising. But it doesn't have to be this way. Take Walmart for example. By using their massive buying power, it managed to keep the prices lower on many grocery staples. For millions of people, this is the only place where a full cart doesn't feel impossible. During inflation spikes, they began to roll back prices, offering bulk deals and undercutting competitors. And it actually worked pretty well. Many shoppers turned to Walmart as a cheaper alternative when other grocery chains hiked their prices. While Walmart isn't just reacting to the market, it's shaping it. Their massive buying power lets them pressure suppliers into lowering the costs, which keeps prices down for consumers. It shows that lowering costs for customers is possible. That is, if companies choose to do so. If more companies follow in Walmart's footsteps, then we could finally see more grocery prices that are affordable. But for now, we'll have to just wait and see how the grocery crisis unfolds. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. It would really help out the channel. And if you're already subscribed, I appreciate the support. And until next time, thanks for watching.